In this video we'll be making this Pulp Fiction inspired gift box. So tonight I have a 50th birthday and I need to build this project, so it's definitely going to be a one-day build. So if you've ever seen the iconic movie Pulp Fiction, there was a scene when Vincent Vega opens up a suitcase and it lights up in front of him. I don't have a suitcase, so I'm just going to use this cash box, and within the cash box I'm going to have some miniature bourbon bottles, because if you're 50 you definitely know about bourbon and you definitely know about Pulp Fiction. So I'm going to put these bottles inside this case so when you open it up it lights up in front of you. Could have just easily got him a bottle of bourbon and been done with it, but I think this is something just a bit different. So yeah, I'm just lining up the bottles just to make sure everything fits and I can sort of get in my head how I want to design it. You can use your imagination what brands these are, and once that's done I created an image about the size of the cash box and then grab some images of the bottles I want to use in the project and then scale these based on the actual dimensions of the bottle. Once I had them all scaled to the right size, I just pasted them all into my box and organised the bottles around about where I'd like them to be inside the cash box. I selected the white area and then flood filled that in a new layer. Then shrunk the selection. I want a 3mm border around the bottles when it's in the box. Deleted that, removed the bottles. And this image here, which is the approximate size of the bottles, I'm going to convert to an SVG and then import that into Fusion for making the outline. So we can just export this as a JPEG or a PNG, and then we just Google PNG to SVG. And I use this on Convertio, and it just converts your image into an SVG image, which we can then import into Fusion. So once you're in Fusion, it's just a case of insert SVG, stick your image in then where you want to put it, so I'll just chuck it there for now, and it imports the whole image. What we can do now is check that there's no size changes, so we'll just use the measure tool just to check the size, 116, so it's slightly bigger, so I just need to scale this down slightly once I've extracted it. We'll click on inside here and just extrude that. I want it to be about 5mm, about right, and then I'm just going to grab these images and scale them to the right size. So I drew a bit more accuracy the outline of the inside of the cash box, created these squares because I'm using this LED strip to light up when the case opens, so it'll be sitting inside like that and there'll be foam on this side. So what I'm going to do now is print off the first sort of millimeter of this profile just to see that all the bottles fit correctly. So I just print off the first few layers just for sizing, just to see if my bottles will fit, and they look pretty good, but maybe just a bit tight. I want them to be able to sort of slide out easy. These ones on the outside seem fine, but this one in the middle it's a bit of a squish. I mean, this is just thin, so once I've got a thicker piece of material it's going to be harder, so I just need to tweak this slightly and then print off the whole unit because I'm running out of time. Okay, so here's the next version, or the last version really, because I'm running out of time, but you can see the bottles coming in and out pretty easily really, and I've got the holes all cut out for the LEDs also, so hopefully they all sort of line up perfectly if it's nice and flat. So also in the case, it's a nice snug fit. So it's going to sit about that height with the foam underneath just to hold everything in nice and tightly. So next thing I got to do is, that's fine, I've got to organise the foam, is how I turn the lights on. Now for the lighting I could probably just use a switch on the lid, just like pop a switch in here and it'll click open. It's all sort of obvious how it works, but I want it to be a complete mystery. So what I'm going to use is a reed switch, which is this little glass one here. Here's a photo. And this is sort of what you have in your door alarm, so if a door opens, the alarm goes off. So this is just got like a little magnet here, and every time the magnet is in contact or the lid's shut, the lights go off, and when the lid opens, it turns on again. So I can hide this reed switch in here, and I'll just put a magnet in the lid, and it'll be a complete mystery because there's no way you'll be able to see anything's working. So that's how the switch is going to work. Check out my website for the blog post on how to get this circuit. It's the simplest transistor circuit there is probably. So I'm just going to hide that in the little circuit board underneath. Some of the bottles just fit snugly inside the container, so I don't have to go around and they just don't fall out before I give it to before I give the gift. So I'm just going to use some foam, and foam's quite hard to come by in New Zealand for some reason. So, and if you do find it, it's ridiculously expensive. So let's went down to the $2 shop and got some of these like workout pad foams. So I'm going to cut out the shape just like this underneath, and the bottles are going to fit snugly inside the foam and not move around. And also, this isn't a very nice sort of finish. It's 3D printed and it's, you know, not great. So if you saw my arcade machine, I've got a lot of this wood vinyl left over, so I'm going to give this a coat of paint to smooth it off and put some vinyl on it as well before attaching all the LEDs and whatnot underneath. Okay, so I've got the vinyl wrap on. It's looking pretty good, I think. I pre-boarded out the little circuit for turning it on, and the reed switch is in here, so if I just put the reed switch magnet over the reed switch, it goes on and off. So pretty much good to go to start assembling. Before I fully commit to this, I just want to make sure that the switch actually works, and it looks like it's going to do the business for us. So now I'll go ahead and start assembling it. Okay, so here you go, the finished product. I've been mucking around with this, batteries are dead, so the lights aren't too bright, but you don't have to put alcohol in it. We're not all alcoholics, of course. You can put anything in it you like. And of course the circuit, you put it in, even just in a suitcase, the same as the movie. But aside from that, well, you made it all the way to the end. You should definitely subscribe, and YouTube thinks you'd like this video next.